that many of us are starting to consider a lot more about our ski holiday is sustainability. And we've all seen kind of climate change and how that's affecting the mountains. And I, for one, am not fancying living in the world without any skiing. So there's lots of things we can take on board, whether it's our travel, what resorts we're choosing, or even kind of within our clothing, because some of those brands are linking up to protect our winters and also changing kind of materials and the way that things are designed and made. I know that you've got something to share with.
The thing is about being responsible or sustainable is that it can actually start in your wardrobe with the clothes that you choose. And what I've got here is a new jacket, a new launch from Helly Hansen. It's a Lifa Infinity Pro jacket. And there's two different models. There's the Odin and there's the Elevation. And the Elevation is a free ride jacket and the Odin is more geared towards ski touring. But you know, Helly Hansen, 140 years of innovative products. Helly Hansen have been, that's how long they've been making clothing for, sailing and ski clothing, as we know. And what they say is that they make professional grade gear to help people stay alive and feel alive as well. That's their kind of motto, if you like. And I guess this new Lifa Infinity Pro jacket embodies that. The key thing here is that it's actually first to market technology. Helly Hansen are saying this is the first time anyone's quite brought this kind of responsible technology into a ski jacket without compromising the performance at all. One of the really key things about the fact that, yeah, this is a responsibly made jacket without the use of chemicals and without the need to reproof with chemical products afterwards. But the key thing to remember is its performance. They haven't compromised on that. Helly Hansen has not compromised on the performance. It's a highly waterproof and highly breathable jacket as well. And breathability, especially if you're ski touring, is one of the key things. It's all very well having something that's waterproof, but if it's not breathable, you've got big problems. And this Lifa material, from what I understand, is really, really highly breathable. And that's almost, well, it's certainly as important as being waterproof, if not more important. I saw this jacket at ISPO this year, back in the end of January in Munich, you know, the big trade show that launches all the new equipment, and it really caught my eye. It looks great, but what's really cool about it is this whole responsible aspect that they've put into this jacket, but also the fact that it is really high performing. They use a lot of athletes to help develop their products. So they test and test and test with professional athletes. And in fact, last week, I caught up with Freeride World Tour legend Aurélien Decroux, who lives in Chamonix in the French Alps. And he's been testing this jacket extensively over last winter. And he told us a little bit more about what it does and what it is. Hi, Aurélien. How are you?
Hello, very good. Thank you very much.
You've traveled the world as a freeride skier. You know, you've been on the Freeride World Tour. You've been Freeride World Tour champion. And I know you've won the Verbier Extreme 4 times, which is a record. So some fantastic achievements there.
It is. Thank you.
I mean, it's pretty cool being, you know, sponsored by a company like Helly Hansen and being a professional athlete, being able to be sponsored. But I mean, how involved do you get in the R&D side, in the actual research and development of the products?
I would say more and more year by year. I work, of course, a lot on testing with them, bringing them as much feedback as I can.
Helly Hansen have launched this new jacket, the Lifa Infinity Pro. And you know, what's the most extreme conditions you've put the Lifa Infinity Pro through, for example, the new jacket?
Well, so Lifa Infinity Pro, it's a ski jacket. So the idea was to test it in all kind of condition we can find out in the mountains. On this program with the Lifa Infinity Pro, I had more than 70 days tasting. And really, as I said, I've been trying to go in every condition to be 100% sure that this new fabric, this new concept, this new tech will work everywhere. And so that was all winter long last year. It's a really good result. So we are really happy about this new product for sure.
With your experience on the mountain and the things that you've done in your career, do you really think that it makes a big difference for you when you're on a mountain now to have the kind of technology that, you know, Helly Hansen are putting into a jacket?
Yes, of course. As you said, we have seen a huge evolution in terms of breathability, first of all, also waterproofness. Those two combined make you more confident when you go out skiing. It's lighter in your backpack, and when you go hiking for hours, it makes a big difference.
They talk a lot about sustainability, but I think, a lot of companies are talking about similar things. I mean, what kind of makes this jacket actually stand out from the rest of those brands?
Well, first of all, this is our challenge, trying to be more sustainable. For me, the main thing is having everyone in the same direction, which is great. The new tech with Helly Hansen, trying to take off all the chemicals and using like more than 70% less water by producing the jacket. The two things we need to understand without losing any performance.
Cool. Okay. Well, look, I've got one of these. I don't know if it's going to work. Is it going to work? Oh no! Look, the screen's not picking it up. It is a Leaf Infinity Pro. Oh, there we go. Yeah. There, it's coming up. It's like an invisibility jacket. I have tested it so far in the English weather conditions. I can say it works. It works pretty well. So I'm looking forward to trying it on snow as well. It's been a real pleasure. I really want to speak to you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure too, and happy to talk to you and maybe to see you this winter if we have the chance to travel and go skiing all over. So
that would be fantastic. I'd love to
wish you all a great winter with a lot of snow, I hope.
So if you want to get your hands on one of these Leaf Infinity Pro jackets, either the Elevation or the Odin, then go to hellyhansen.com. Check it out.
So we thought about being more responsible with our wardrobe, but also we can think about other things when it comes to our ski holiday to make them greener. One of which is obviously travel. We tend to kind of go on ski holidays via a flight, but we know that's not the greenest option. I know you've got a few stats for us.
I have indeed, Emily. I love a few stats. In 2011, rail travel company Snow Carbon did some research on this. And what they did is they looked at travel between London and Tignes in France, ski resort Tignes. And they looked at the CO2 emissions per person for travel on a plane. And if you travel on a plane, it's around 82 kilograms of CO2 per person that you use. If you travel in a car of 4 people, it's around 57 kilograms of CO2 per person in a car of 4. But if you travel by rail, by train, that is only 14 kilograms of CO2 emissions, so dramatically reduced. I mean, the data's a little bit old, but I think it still stands today. And a coach actually is pretty good as well. It's somewhere between that rail travel at 14 and the car at 57. But it's also, it's not a bad way to travel, but train is obviously the greenest.
Yeah, I mean, and this year, 2020 has thrown all sorts at us. And I mean, there's also those different options of travel. Not only are they greener, but kind of like traveling in a car with the COVID situation being kept in that bubble might be a pretty good time to kind of try a different alternative to go on your ski holiday this year, because, you're all together, you're reducing kind of your carbon footprint, but also you're staying safe at the same time. I know the ski train that's been cancelled
for this winter.
But there's always kind of other options by changing in Paris.
Absolutely, and taking the Eurotunnel in a self-drive car as well. And it's not difficult to get to the Alps. And we've just heard very recently that EasyJet are only going to run around 20% of their seasonal flights at the moment. Yeah. So, driving could be a really, really good option.
Exactly. So perfect to kind of change it up if you're thinking there's loads of stuff out there on the internet just to click away. So we've got wardrobe and travel, but also the resorts themselves are doing a lot for kind of sustainability.
Yeah, loads of resorts are doing things. Sur Chevalier, for example, in the French Alps, they're aiming to produce all of their own electricity themselves, which is fantastic. Val Thorens and the Three Valleys, they're implementing a range of electric vehicles to get people around the resort. Over in Chamonix, they're doing huge amounts of work in the valley. And Chamonix is one of the partner resorts of Helly Hansen. Helly Hansen have lots of partner resorts all over the world, including Chamonix, Arosa, Aspen in the States.
So when you say partner resorts, what does that actually mean?
So it means that if you buy a Helly Hansen jacket or pants, you'll get a free ski day, a free lift pass for that resort that they partner up with.
Okay, so just jumping back to Chamonix, what you mentioned before, obviously, you see it firsthand in Chamonix because you're looking at the glacier and you can see the effects of the climate kind of on the glacier actually shrinking. I remember going training there years ago and then went back there last year and I was quite shocked at the difference. So they've kind of like had that sustainability kind of on their mind constantly, and back in 2013 they got a Flocon Vert, which is kind of a green award, and they're changing kind of always updating kind of sustainability with their public transport and stuff like that.
Yeah, they are. They're managing it really well in the valley, and they're electric vehicles, that sort of thing, and public transport to get people around without creating pollution. So they're doing their bit. And obviously the effects that we see that's a global issue, not a local one. But they're doing their thing there in Chamonix as well.
Yeah, and it's great that kind of all these resorts are kind of taking on that responsibility to be a little bit more responsible, using that word quite a lot. But there's also something else you want to mention, which is being hosted.
Helly Hansen are sponsoring the premiere of the new Roran Miller movie, Future Retro, which you can watch straight after this show.
Well, it's great to know that we can all just think a little bit more about whether it's what we're wearing, how we're travelling, or where we're going on our ski holiday. Just little steps to just be a little bit more greener.